Do you want to learn how to draft a stud quarterback for your franchise? Just keep watching this video and we'll show you. Hi everyone, this is Extinguisher 10. Today we are going over how to scout and draft your franchise quarterback. So in here in the scouting screen, it looks like for whatever reason it already scouted a bunch of players, but we're just going to ignore that. It only scouted the first one, Blake Washington. He is a scrambler, A+ throw power, A- throw on the run, A- break sack. He's looking pretty good so far. He was initially projected as a early first rounder, and it shows him to be a late first rounder for talent. So that can be kind of a bit of a sign that you might not want to take him. Like, he looks good. He'll be a good quarterback, but he's probably going to have normal development because he's probably going to be a little lower than what was originally projected, but he is 21 years old, and I mean, he's a scrambler. Maybe he's athletic. We will see later in this draft how athletic he is, but for now, we'll put him on the old maybe list. So the best way to go about this is you don't want to waste your points because you have to scout every other position too, unless you're lucky and you only need one, but we're going to assume that's not the case, and you just want to go down boom, 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 one at a time. And you might not necessarily need to do every single one, but it depends on whether you're looking for a backup, a starter. If you're looking to just get a backup, start at the 4th round and go down. If you're looking for your starter, maybe just do the first 3 rounds, maybe all of them. Kind of depends on what you find early on. But we ran out of points. We'll skip to the next week. And back here at the next week, I don't know if you saw, I should have pointed this out. There was 10 scouting points left over, and we get 175 every week, and we now have 180, which means that the remaining points carried over to a half. So, and that happens every time. They just split it in half, and there you go. So let's just, oh, didn't mean to do that twice. Let's just get the rest of these guys. So you are definitely going to want at least an A- throw power, if not more. Of course, higher the better. There's only one A+, it's this first guy. But these guys with solid A's, boom, 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 they're all worth looking at. In fact, it'd be worth looking at the A-, but we'll start with the high ones first. And ran out of points, and get the last couple guys here. With quarterbacks, you're going to need every scouted skill to be high. So maybe a B+ for the last one, but seeing this B+ right here, I mean, he is a 7th rounder. He would be worth considering to keep going. In fact, let's do it, because he is a 7th rounder. He might make a good backup. And oh, B-, it dropped off too quick. If it would have been another B+, probably would have been worth taking in the 7th round to be your backup. So this guy, B, definitely don't want him. It's a higher round. He's lower than actually the next guy, at least at the same stage. Yeah, his ceiling could be a little higher, being a B instead of a B-, but it's still not even worth doing. This guy, B+, not worth it. And moving up here, B-, don't do it. B-, don't do it. A-, here we go. He's an improviser, throw on the run, A-, and another A-. In fact, the computer, let's show this on the screen, grades this as a first-round talent, even though he's projected to be a mid-3rd rounder. In fact, it shows him being a mid-1st rounder for talent. He's 22 years old, good throw power, good throw on the run, and good short accuracy. Would I rather see, instead of throw on the run and short, would I rather see medium and deep? Yeah, that would be ideal, but it's still not bad looking, and I definitely consider drafting him, especially in the 3rd round. Moving up to another 3rd rounder, also A-, B+. See, even just that little bit, it dropped off. You never know, because you only get to see the 3 and it could drop off later. So you have to also go with these diamonds. And these diamonds are a good indication of what kind of talent they are. Just pretty broad. They're not necessarily super accurate, but they're normally accurate within at least a couple rounds. So this 4th rounder may be more like a 5th rounder. He could be more like a 3rd rounder. This 1st round talent that's coming out of the 3rd, he might not actually be a 1st round talent, might be more like a 2nd, but he could be a 1st. You don't really know, but it gives you a good idea anyway. So moving up here to Leonard Kendrick, he's also looking decent so far, and he dropped off, unfortunately, just wasn't what we were looking for. Sometimes you can do less than A- for your last trait later in the rounds, but these early ones, you kind of need A's across the board. So this guy has a B, don't even bother. Save the points for something else. This guy right here, Ron Berg, A-, maybe. Let's see another A-, and B+, just not what we're looking for. This guy here, A and A, not even A-. We have more hope, and B+. See, look at that, he's projected to go higher, and his last grade that we see is the same as the rest of them, but because the ceiling was a little higher, and you never know what happens after that. So this guy, he must not have tapered off as much afterwards as the other two. And jumping in here, just taking another look at him, says he's a late first round talent, projected at mid. He might be normal development, but 21 years old, still pretty decent numbers. He's definitely worth looking at. And those are probably it for the quarterbacks that you really want. But this A- over here, he might be worth it. In fact, looking at it, he's a scrambler, so he's a very athletic scrambler, and these numbers stay high across. He still could be worth it. So let's check it out. B+, maybe. It's a third rounder. B, it dropped off. You can't do that. And these guys, no, another A-. This guy's archetype is strong arm. He has A- for throw power, so that's not very encouraging. I don't think he's going to be very good, but let's give him a shot. Let's try one more. B-, we're done. Being he's a strong arm quarterback, you pretty much know that that's his best talent, is just throwing hard and throwing far. So if he's an A-, that means he's probably not that good. But he's projected to go in the 5th round, so it was still worth throwing another 10 points at, just to see, just in case. Down here we have another scrambler with an A- first trait. Unlike almost everybody else, he has A- short accuracy for his first trait, so this is kind of interesting. It's not encouraging because you want some arm strength, but let's see. B+, okay, maybe workable. He's a 6th rounder, might be a good backup. Give me another B+. B, dropped off. Even with the B+, depending on if it would have dropped off after that, kind of all depends. If he's a scrambler, but he's not actually that good at scrambling, just not very good. And dropping down to the last guy, we're going to look at one more scrambler. We have a lot of scramblers in this draft. A- throw power. Let's check it out. Oh, and B-. We're done. We've drafted everybody that we're going to draft. Let's go into the draft. And I've just said draft a lot of times. Let's jump into the draft and see what the results are. So I forgot 2 things before we jump into the draft. The first one is how to get more points to scout your players. So we're going to jump over here into My Coach, spend Coach XP, and you want to get this top package here, Expert Scouting, 1,400 points. It's completely worth it. You know how we had 175 points before? Well, this 374 is not completely from the upgrade. I skipped a bunch of weeks, a bunch of points carried over. But anyway, because I can't show you, I will tell you, it's 200 points. So you might think, that's not that much more, it's only 25 extra points. Look at it this way. It's not going to pay off right away in great amounts. It's going to pay off over the years, even over 1 year, because you're going to go, well, what's 25 points? That's basically one player each week. You get a scout for about 17-ish weeks. I haven't counted. You start, I think, week 3, and then you get a couple of scouting times during the off season. So yeah, about 17-ish weeks. So that's 17 extra players you can scout fully, or even more if it's just partial scouting. So that really adds up. So here at draft week, I'm going to show you that one last thing. You go over to league and then news, and then change it over to draft stories, and you can see, in fact, here's a story on one of the quarterbacks we drafted. You can see stories on how good or bad players are. Heisman goes to Washington. Stanford quarterback Blake Washington won the Heisman Trophy today after a season that saw him dominate opposing defenses. So this pretty much guarantees that he's going to have some kind of hidden development. What it is really varies, but he should have at least higher than normal development. So we'll want to check out Blake Washington and kind of bump him up on our draft board. And speaking of draft board, let's create one. So of all the scouted players, you're really not going to want anyone with a red diamond. And to add anyone to your draft board, you just hit triangle on PlayStation, and I think it's Y on Xbox. It's the top button anyway. And you hit that, and boom, you get that little star next to him. Boom. And just for now, we're just going to add everybody with a diamond next to him, which is just those 3 guys. This was not a strong, or at least a deep class. and then we're going to go over to draft board. It's these 3 guys. We sort them the way we want them, and everyone has the same floor of A-, but now we have also scouting combine grades, which you can see over there. But if you click on them, you can get better. 40-yard dash, this guy's the 2nd fastest. He's agile, he's very athletic overall, so definitely very encouraging there. This field general, he's average athletically. And this improviser, above average, but nothing too impressive. I mean, he's 5th in speed, so he's all right. Nothing that's blown me away. And really, just looking at the guys we have on our board, I would actually take these guys in order that they're projected to go anyway. Blake Washington looks really good. He has great upside. That A- for the 2nd one is lower than the next guy down, the Jimmy Jensen. So he might not be quite as good right off the bat. Actually, it's probably going to be pretty comparable because he's going to have better athletic stats to kind of make up for that. But as far as passer wise, he's probably not quite as good. But we also know that there's a story on him. He has hidden development, so we definitely want to keep him high. Jimmy Jensen looks good, and Nathan Ruse, he looks great for a 3rd rounder. We're just going to take all these guys with our first 3 picks. And here we are, we've got the 2nd pick. Let's take Blake Washington, see how good we did. 75 overall, hidden development. Yeah, we took him a little early. It says Blake is ranked 11th in true talent. We drafted him at number 2. We kind of knew that, but hey, it's a tutorial. If this was a draft I was doing for myself, I probably would have tried to trade back a few spots, get some extra picks, but we're just showing you how it is. So yeah, this guy looks really good. He could start for you day 1, or if you already have a good quarterback, he can be your backup and you bring him in year 2. Either way, he's a good draft pick. Back here on the board, I forgot how many draft picks the Dolphins have. Jesus, they have 3 first rounders. Well, I guess we'll take Jimmy Jensen. It's probably a little early for him, but let's do it. And 74 overall, he also has hidden development. Yeah, it says we took him early. We know what's going on here. This is someone else. You can start year 1 and do pretty good with him. And with our last quarterback to take, we're taking him in the 1st round. I would have waited till the 2nd probably myself, because he's good enough that someone probably would have taken him before the 3rd, but we're going to take him now. And 74 overall, hidden development. I'm very pleased with this. He is just as good as the last guy. He's not going to be quite as good of a passer, but he's more mobile, so it's going to make up for that. This guy would be a steal to get in the 2nd round, and I would not be ashamed of having him being my starting quarterback. And here in the draft recap, let's check out some of these guys' numbers. Blake Washington, 84 speed. Jimmy Jensen, 72. I called him a potted plant, but 72 isn't bad. He's not a potted plant. He's not super mobile, but that's not bad. Nathan Ruse, 81 speed. Throw power. Blake Washington, 92. It is really hard to get really, really high throw power. He had A+ throw power, and you'll also have to remember, A+ isn't just for the league. It's based off of against your classmates. So he could have an A+ and everyone else can have A- or below. And that doesn't necessarily mean this guy has a monster arm. It just means it's that much better than everybody else. In this case, it was A+ versus, I think, A and A. In this class, that gets you an 88 and an 89. And let's see here, short throw accuracy. Everybody's in the mid 80s. Medium, you've got our 3rd rounder here, Nathan Ruse. He's in the 70s, but everyone else is 82. And Blake Washington, he doesn't have the deep throw accuracy that the other 2 do, but he's got that hidden development. Oh wait, they all do. And that's actually pretty rare. To find a 3rd rounder with hidden development, very difficult to find. We got lucky with that one. Everyone's got good throw on the run. These are very good level, even quarterbacks. I'm very pleased with these guys, although the break sack on these 2 are excellent. And as a matter of fact, let's jump in. I think we can find out what their player trait is if we go into edit them. I'm just curious. SuperStar X Factor. That was Blake Washington, the guy we took with the 2nd overall pick, our first pick. Definitely would have been well worth it. And I mean, that was the guy with the draft story. So that's very good. Let's check out Jimmy Jensen. Jimmy Jensen star. Okay. So that's the lowest of the hidden developments. That's not ideal, but it's better than normal. And Nathan Ruse. And it's another star. Not too surprising. Anything above star is pretty hard to get. Sometimes you can get a superstar in there, But Superstar X Factor, like we got with that first guy, super good. Super happy about that. And for a quick little recap on how to scout quarterbacks, you want high throw power, bare minimum A-, if not A or A+. You want high throw accuracy, whether it's medium, short, deep. And if you can get a deep and a medium in there, that is very encouraging. And in a rare case, can your last trait be a B+. Most of the time, if they drop down to B+, you probably don't want them, but it's always worth taking a look at. Of course, pay attention to player archetypes. That can really give you an idea of how good of a player is, even just by looking at the first stat. If he's a scrambler and he has great throw power, that's encouraging. If he's a scrambler and he has great, short accuracy, that doesn't really help you any. If he's a strong arm quarterback and his number one trait isn't throw power, and the number one trait isn't like an A+, then you probably don't want to keep going. But if it's an A, I guess you could hope for another A, and it's the next one. But yeah, anyway, you get the idea. So pay attention to those traits. Pay attention to what kind of quarterback that you want to draft, because that's important too. If you need to run around, don't draft a potted plant. Get somebody who's mobile. Don't forget to upgrade your coach so you get more scouting points. And of course, always look at the draft stories. That'll definitely help you get players with hidden development. If you like these tips and you want to see more, I have more videos coming out on more positions shortly after this. I also have a video out going over every position, just kind of a quick little broad one that'll give you an idea how to draft, and that'll really give you a good idea of what to do overall. But until next time, this is Extinguisher 10 signing out. Have a great rest of your day.